Cleo Manago has become a force for social change, also a behavior expert in the Black community. Dr. Manago, welcome to the show.
First of all, what you said is true, that the resources have not been coming to the community, but there has been some resources coming to the community. So the other issue that we have to deal with is not just a lack of resources, but who white people give the resources to. I developed a model in the 90s called Critical Thinking and Culture Affirmation. It's a behavioral change model that helps people to replace faulty reasoning with exemplary reasoning, help to increase critical thinking, and to do what I call trance breaking. As I've talked about a lot in this on your stage here, is that a lot of Black people are in a post-white supremacy trauma trance. So if you want Black people who are at high risk, like Black men in terms of HIV and AIDS, to reduce their behavior, there has to be a strategy, a technique, one that I've developed, that helps them to decode, unlearn, and recognize in this culture all of the messages that imply that they have a lack of worth. You think you're the first one to call me super Black. They were calling me that back then. And it was something wrong with caring about Black people. You know, just caring about Black people means you're militant, you're angry, blah, blah, blah. You can't be just a rational human being who's concerned based on data and statistics about reversing a problem in your community.
Black people are living in the aftermath of a history of several centuries of being very stigmaphobic. If white people had a judgment of us or didn't like us, we had hell to pay, sometimes to the point of being murdered and killed and humiliated to the point of lynching.
I think that what you're raising is important in terms of being at the table, but I'm not interested in spending a lot of time at that table because, I mean, I think that the kind of resources that come to that table should be trickled down into Black communities, but our community has to learn how to love itself and embrace itself as Black people who are same-gender loving.
The community is outraged and concerned about what happened to young Trayvon, and the community is in an uproar, and we want to make sure that some constructive outcomes come of this process. I heard your comments about a theory and people not speaking about this in terms of theories, but one thing that's not a theory at all is that a young man who's completely innocent, who was minding his own business, was suddenly tracked, suddenly stalked, and then died. The intent of this event is to bring calm, focus, and constructive decision-making to our community so we can go forward in ways that might have a positive outcome in terms of how we go forward, how we're treated, and how we treat each other.
From my perspective, you've heard me say many times on the show, this is an anti-Black society. The media is very anti-Black. The media does not really show us in a positive light. It doesn't show us loving each other, let alone being industrious and just people living a slice of life that's healthy and holistic. It's always some type of stereotypical angle to everything, or it's a comedy. What it feels like and looks like to attack a Black man, because you said something earlier about getting benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
And often Black men are guilty until proven guilty. So there's a lot of nuance here that's going on here, and we don't want to have an oppression contest, you know, who's the worst, who gets the worst beating.
Sure.
But the bottom line is that there's nuance here, and there's a lot to look at in terms of how Black men are treated.
Racism is not rational. It's a mental illness, though it's pretty widespread in the society and has been for centuries, but it's still not a healthy state of mind. There's people among whites who have said that though police have been killing lots of unarmed Black people, that they support the police's behavior, and this has been a majority of white people in polls. I think among white people there's a preemptive fear of the loss of privilege. And I think all this noise about there being discrimination is a pushback out of a real concern and anxiety among them that they're going to be losing power, and they're trying to use, what I think, deceptive word tactics like this to try to deflect it from happening. So I think they're delusional, but not delusional without a purpose. They're trying to keep power, and the more they create these concerns around there being discrimination against them, they might keep it.